don't know what that is. Hold on. I'll say, Morgan, are you frozen? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, hold on.
Am I frozen?
All right, there we go. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
But now I can't hear you. It's something I did. It's not something you did. It's something I did. So I'm going to come out and come right back in.
Okay. Oh God. I can't see any comments or anything. Can you hear me now?
All right, can you say something, Morgan?
Can you hear me?
I don't know why I can't hear you. I was hearing you just fine. Hold on. Let me take it all the way off. Let's see.
Do you want me to
Good
leave and
morning,
try to come back in?
everyone. Never mind the technical difficulties. Hi, Banner. Hi, Stan. Good morning. I was hearing Morgan just fine just a few minutes ago, and then we just lost each other. Well, I can't. Well,
Okay, is that better?
there you go.
Okay, something like glitched on my screen.
I think it was me when I did whatever I did. It did it to you.
No. Oh man, how's everybody's weekend been?
Girl, tired. I got my grandsons pretty much for the summer.
Oh God.
And we've been on the road. I've been at water every day, all day, and then except for yesterday. Yesterday, my husband took them to Six Flags, and he was gone all day, and that's why I got a lot done yesterday. But girl,
Oh, that's
I'm
fun.
tired.
I thought
Hey,
about taking
Darren.
mine to Six Flags.
Yeah, the funny
But
thing is that we actually live 15 minutes from one, but I prefer to go to one that is 3 hours away. It is so funny. Like, I don't feel like I've went somewhere if I'm only going 15 minutes away from home, if that makes sense.
mm-hmm.
But my husband's like, but we got one 15 minutes away. But I'm like, I want to go to New Jersey. Good morning,
Oh,
Sean. You have a banging day too, Sean. Sean, where my girl at? Did she know we featured her on an episode about 3 weeks ago? But yeah, Miss Joey of the Jungle. That's her man's and them. That's her man. So today is going to be a really good episode, but we're going to start off with just making some, general announcements. One, of course, being Daytona is around the corner. Morgan, I hope you're coming. The crazy thing for me is that two of my most anticipated clashes will deliver while I'm in Daytona. So to work with my anxiety, we're now scheduled for 4 days. Depending, we might back it up to 2 or 3, like just for Saturday. I mean Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and come fly home Sunday if we fly. But I think I might have to fly now because of that. So I prefer to drive to Florida though. It's such a nice drive. When we get stopped. She's in Columbia Jungle right now. Let's go. Let's go. Oh my God. Morgan, you will love this life that Joey had. Because I'd be amazed. She's just in the jungles in Colombia.
that's like my dream. I would love
I'll
that.
be recording y'all checking in from base. Hey, Joey, morning. How's it going? But when y'all find something, bring it to me. Bring it back.
I
The
would have so
hunting
much
part
fun with
of it.
that.
Oh
Like,
my
okay,
God,
so
it
if
has
I
to be
if
the
I
hunt.
come to Daytona, we gotta go paddleboard with some alligators.
See, I would do that as long as like I'm not touching them. Because I love the what is that place? It's right outside of Orlando. Alligator, Gatorland. And where you can do the like we did the what you call it, the zip lining at night. Like stuff like that don't bother me. It's like alligators I can see. It's like I'm not getting in the water with him. I'm not going up to, like, I'm not like you, like, oh, there's one. Let's go over here and
Yeah,
measure it
that's exactly, yeah,
and
exactly
see.
what I do.
I'll stand over here and be like, Morgan, go ahead. How big is it? How big is it, Morgan?
So
That would
my
be me.
kid was asking me yesterday, we went to this little river last year. We go every year, but last year I saw a cottonmouth and chased it because I wanted to catch it. And my kid was like, "Can we go back there? Can we go look for snakes there?" Absolutely, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. We can look for garter snakes. We can look for eastern hognose, all of that. When I see a cottonmouth, I'm gonna call Morgan and be like, "It's a cottonmouth over there. I'm over here."
They're my favorite. They're so cool.
I'm not going to manage the breathing, the slow breathing we talked about too well. The staying calm at all. None of that. I already know I failed the thought. Even reading that stuff, I'm like, when we had Denzel on and he was talking about how the snooted cobra won't necessarily kill you if you can control those things. And I'm like, yeah, I'm dead. So Sean, when I interviewed her, she talked about her journeys over South America. Um, I had visited. We went to Costa Rica. Look, I can't even remember. It had to be like we didn't marry 15 years, so it had to be like one of the fifth. Anyway, it had to be like 2016, 2017. We went to Costa Rica, and I was telling her it is one of the most animal protecting countries I've ever been to. Even specifically their wild animals. So the coolest things, if you're a dog lover, you can see almost any type of dog you possibly ever want to see in Costa Rica. It will be friendly and no one can kill it. Okay. So how we see random dogs and stuff like that, like they're different. Like even if it's they have this thing called the Land of the Giants where they actually bring in all of the homeless dogs and people care for them. They raise them up. So you got Rottweilers, Pit Bulls, German Shepherds, Pomeranians, everything just living a happy life. It reminds me of what I think Rocco is like in heaven right now, if it makes sense. Like
Oh,
a dog's just in the pasture, just water here, galloping there. It's the most beautiful scenery. So I can, from my little experiences, not in the jungle, because when I went in the jungle, my husband would tell you I got stung by a bee there and almost died. So like I was not having a good time in the jungle, but I can see where it was beautiful because when we was ziplining through the jungles, Costa Rica has some of the best views from their jungles. But they also have a lot of animals in there too, and some of them which are very deadly, specifically insects. So shout out to Joey who's doing. I mean, it's ministry when you go into nature like that, you know. And although I joke about it, Morgan, when you go into nature like that and you embrace it in that way, that's God's intent. That's how when you read the Bible, no one was living in a condo in Jerusalem
right.
while while the king cobras were coming to see Pharaoh, you know. Like it was just everybody was everywhere. And back then, funny in the Bible, when they saw snakes, they didn't fear them like we do now, right?
Hmm.
It was a royal thing. It was like, oh, you reach heights when you saw the king cobra at the or the statue of one. You know, you knew you was ready to walk into royalty. So yeah, that's just it. Just has to be a beautiful thing to do. Thank you, Eric. Vanna, I'm sure. Young Nicole used to be in the woods all the time looking for stuff. Somewhere older Nicole got older and realized that these things could really kill you, even though I knew it then. It's just that I think when you're younger, you don't think you can die. Yeah, if it bites me, I'll be all right. Now I'm 51. I'm like, oh, it might bite me, and it might just give me a heart attack, and that's it. That might be my reaction at 51. I don't know. But let's get into our topic today. Oh, we did Gettysburg. Don't forget, guys, July 20th, Gettysburg. We are vending. We always vending Gettysburg. So those of you who are looking to purchase one of the last two reticulated pythons that we have available, which is the Machino Motley Sunfire, and we have a albino Motley Golden Child um available. But that's it. There was nothing. No, I don't have any other retakes, but I do think that T'Challa is pregnant, y'all. She has denied food for the second time, and I'm just hoping that she's not retaining sperm from the last parent. I hope she's actually impregnated by the um, tiger pod head albino, because I was shooting for golden tiger. I mean golden sun tigers, double heads albino pod. So if she, I'm sure she is, because she don't deny food. The only other time she ever denied food is when she was pregnant. The immortality of youth, how I miss the right, Jim. Like like when you were younger, you did all kinds of things. I can run and jump this fence, and I could clear a fence. Now I will think about it like that fence is a little too high. How did I get 6 feet? You gotta start thinking about that. How did I do that when I was a child? How did I jump from roof to roof? All that kind of stuff that you would not be able to do today or think to do today. So, as you all know, for the last, I would say for me, 10 years, you have been seeing upgrades on the education of reptiles and anxiety, their ability to feel emotion, their ability to be sentient beings, right? And more over, scientists are proving that they can. We don't need scientists here. Me and Morgan got our own animals, and we already know they can. We see it every day. Very emotional, some of them. Very moody. Very, as I
Moody,
say,
yeah.
bossy. Some of them are very bossy, like my golden child, Cal. She is very moody and bossy, but not mean. Would never bite. So that's how you know it's emotion. And to me, it's like, because we always talk about instinctually, a snake who is fearful will strike or hiss or huff or something like that. No, she just give you looks, rolls her eyes, all of that. Like you can
The
see all
looks
of
are
that.
funny. The looks are funny because people don't
Yes.
realize they have different facial expressions.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like right now, if I went to the Golden Child Cow, she's not a morning person. If I open her door, she's gonna instantly go and turn like it's just you. Where the next one will show excitement, like hurry up, open the glass.
Mhm.
We see this up close and personal for whatever reason. As reptile keepers, people still don't want to believe it. Even with ball pythons, there are moody ass ball pythons. There are ball pythons that definitely show reaction too. Just that with the bigger snakes, of course, it's more evident, and their ability to be able to use their body to show you that too as well. Like a excited Hefe will ooze straight up on me. He will come out and come straight just like this and stop here. Put his hand here. That's emotion and affection. Like that's where your son or your daughter, your baby, you know what I'm saying, when they come up to you, normally rest their head or your shoulder or your breast. So to me, that's intentional with him because he's a loving snake. Where, like I said, with the golden child cow, just let me come out on my own. I don't need all of that lovey-dovey stuff. I don't need you all up on me. I don't need to be all up on you. I'm coming out. I'm gonna go out, and when she come out, she'll still give you that side eye, like I don't need you to touch me. I'm going on about my business. Like she's a
Yeah.
different animal.
That's how Matilda is. She's very, when I talk about Matilda to people, and the one to people that don't have retics, they don't get it, but it seems like I'm talking about a person.
You
Because I'm like, she gets cussed out the most out of any of the other snakes. We have full on like arguments.
Now that's the big one. That's
That's the big one, yes.
okay. So the topic that we talked about today is not just anxiety, but not just as anxiety triggered by when we rehome animals as adults. Because, and when I say rehoming, like sometimes we forget that if we sell, this is why I like for my animals to sell in their first year, because I feel like after that first year, that's a rehoming process for them too. Even if
Mhm.
it's an animal you don't handle like I may handle the ones I know I'm keeping, it's still an animal who sees me, knows me, smells me, scents me, and all of that things. And then we put it in another hand by way of purchase. Someone bought it. That's still rehoming. Whether you take it from here to there without, because you just saving the animal, or whether you take it from here to there from a purchase, at a certain point, to me, once that animal becomes a subadult, or, in their world, about a year old, they're very much feeling those feelings and connections to themselves. So, um,
Right, they trust the person that has raised them up for a
right.
year, and at that point, they've already formed a bond, I guess, or they already trust that person, and then to go to another home would be jarring.
Yeah, and even like some of them homes, like say, I always think about this house. This house is very quiet, because it's three adults in here. Um, we have kids come through every now and then by way of my grandkids, but they're not here every day. And even when they here, I don't let them jump around and play in my pet snakes and the cell snakes rooms. They get to, they move around, but they don't get to make noise in there because
Mhm.
I don't make noise in there. Like I really respect their peace. You know what I mean? The snake room is one of the quietest place in the house. All day, all night, unless one of them retics is up to something and you hear tubs and stuff getting flipped around. But I think it is important that we talk about the things that you should do preventively, like when you like if you're going to be taking in an animal that's already an adult. And Morgan can speak more to this because Morgan has recently done this with Matilda within the last
Mhm.
6 months. um and a very not just that Matilda, for an example, was a big snake. She was a big snake with somewhat of a attitude. We don't know if that's, well, Morgan can speak to that. It
Mhm.
could be the attitude she had with her current owner, but definitely she had it slightly when she came to Morgan. Not as bad as some can be in transition, but she definitely was one that Morgan had to kind of, figure out and treat differently than she did the animal she housed. So I think it's important that Morgan, you kind of talk about that a little more since you actually have experienced that with a 15, 16 foot retake
Mhm.
that did
Yeah,
not
she's
belong
about
to you.
yeah, she's 9 years old, and, she's about 14 feet, give or take. I need to measure her. I wanna know exactly how long she is, but, yeah, she was used as a breeder. I'm not sure how long. I think the previous people had her for about 5 years. So she's switched hands a few times. Um, coming into my house, they've always said that she's super sweet. Her kids would interact. Sorry, my phone was going off.
No, you're fine.
Um, I heard that, their kids would interact with her, and I believe that because my kids, they handle her too, and it's fine, but I've definitely noticed a she's kind of set in her ways, kind of. She's older, and she gives off this very strong, "I'm gonna do what I want" kind of attitude, "You're not gonna mess with me."
Right.
Um, so knowing that she's 9, I kinda have to respect that a little bit. Like, of course, she's in my house, so, of course, like, I'm gonna try to set some boundaries, like, I don't let her in my face kinda stuff, and, but it's different handling, like, Nikita. Nikita's only 1, so I can kind of maneuver her and show her, like, newer things, but with Matilda, I just kinda have to let her be and let her roam as she feels comfortable, and she's also not as, she doesn't explore as much
Okay.
as the younger ones do. She has her sights set on, like, one area. Whenever she comes out, if she wants under that couch, she's getting under that couch. If she wants to swing from the playroom TV, she's gonna stop at nothing to
To
do
do that.
that, and when I wanna make a video about it because it's
Mhm.
that I made a video of her, like, getting into my face. When I first got her, that was a big no, not letting you in my face, and after about 2 tries, she gave it up. Until that day, it was about a month ago, she was so fixated on my face, which made me nervous. 'Cause I was like, "Why are like, you don't do this. Why are you fixated on my forehead? Like, we're not doing this."
Right.
But she wouldn't give it up. When she has her sights set on something, that's it. With the younger ones, I can kind of redirect and be like, "Oh, look, here's something different." With Matilda, it's different. She wants what she wants, and even when I put her back in her cage, she'll stare all like, she'll because it's in the middle of the house. And her enclosure is like right on the edge, so she can see all into the living room. She'll continue to look at through her glass whatever it is that she was fixated on. Um, it's different. It's a different vibe. Some good, some bad, or not bad, but a little bit more a little
Yeah.
bit more work.
Good morning, sis.
Yeah, those are things that I had to take into account when, because I knew I was getting a 9-year-old instead of a baby. So those are some of it I expected, some of it I did not. But it hasn't been bad. It's been a learning curve,
Yeah.
learning her specifically.
Yeah. So for me, like I said, I think it's at least you understand and comprehend. Like I think sometimes people, especially those of us who already keep animals, right? We bring in a new animal and we think because we already keep animals and we're very successful at it that every animal we bring in we should supposed to be able to fix. And no, like it's just,
Mhm.
you don't know, like you said, it's different because you don't know how that animal was raised. If it was a breeder, like some people when their animals are breeders, their breeders are never handled. You know what I mean? Like that's it, intentionally, because some people think that if you handle your breeding, which is not true, because T'Challa is handled all the time. As you can see, she ain't stopping no egg show over here. But some people believe if you handle your breeders a lot, they won't breed. Now, I do believe that can happen with ball pythons. I do think ball pythons' anxiety levels can be much greater than the apex predators. You know what I mean? I think what happens, like with even Matilda, if she really wanted to get to your face, Matilda knows she could, right?
Right, yeah,
Like
right.
she could just take little Morgan. Let me hold little Morgan and get to her face. But
But what she did, she's very sneaky. At first, when she started her little, like, I don't wanna say hunt, but that's basically what it was. She was hiding underneath a pillow, and I saw her, like, slowly come out. She'd look
they're
up,
ambush
go back
predators.
in. It took place over, like, the course of, like, 30 minutes to an hour, and she kept, like, she went around the pillow and was like, "Hey." I was like, "Girl, no, go go somewhere."
Right.
So, yeah, she could have, if she wanted to bite me, attack her, she absolutely could have. She was right there. Um, so yeah.
So I think too the other part of it, because like I talk about the Motley Tiger, she's my animal. I raised her just like I raised the other one. I raised her since she was 3 months old. And her personality is she's the only different snake in here. And what I mean by that is that's the one I tell y'all, you can leave, you can take the doors off her enclosure. Walk away, go away for weeks. She ain't coming out unless you pull her out. Now she'll
That's
come to
how
the
June is.
pool.
My golden child,
Okay.
June, I accidentally left her cage open one night, and she's little, so I came in panicked. I was like, "Oh my god, no, I'm never gonna find her." She's still in her same spot.
Yeah, some of them like
She came
that.
out.
And so the Motley Tiger has been like that when she was young, and she's like that, and she's every bit of 14, 15 feet now.
She's
Still like that.
great.
She will sit there. She'll watch all the other snakes go by, all of that. Nothing in her says, I want to engage with y'all outside of this enclosure. Now, if you go in there and get her, she comes out. That's not an issue. But compared to all the other ones, that as soon as I open the door, or if they really want to come out, will just come out. She's never going to do that. It's never happened. And it's been years now, right? Like, it's never a moment that's going to happen. We have left her doors open for 8 hours. We have done it overnight just to see. It ain't gonna happen. She would even come to
She's
the
funny.
lid of it, like of her enclosure, and put her head right here and watch everything. But
That's what June does. She looks like she wants to come out, but as soon as I touch her glass,
she turned
she goes
around.
back. She's
Like,
like, "No."
I was just watching. I was just looking. I don't need all that
Yeah.
from y'all. But if you're feeding, she will patiently sit there and wait. She's the one that if you do not watch, you're feeding her, she will also bring you in that cage with her to eat that rabbit. So although she's the one who never wants to engage, she is the more aggressive feeding one. And again, you would think this is how people get caught up. She's so sweet. She's so chill. She never wants to come out. She, you can just do anything with her in a cage and this. You can leave the cage open. She'll never come out. She'll never touch the dog. She'll never do this. But you have food in your hand and go to put that food in there, you better make sure she's not right there in front of that glass. She's the one that you want to see. Where is she? And when we talk about the ambush predator, she's also one. If you see her in her water when you have food, oh, it's really going down. So just put the food on the opposite side of where she is, because she comes out there water and she flips to it. That's totally funny. Goes from 0 to 100. The rest of them are the same. The same laziness they have or activeness they have at feeding and any other time. She is totally different. It's two different personalities. And to me, that is going back to the topic, that's intentional to me. So I think that with her, she's anxious under normal conditions, but when it comes to food, I know who I am, and you know what I'm saying, and I'm gonna get my food type of thing, and by any means necessary. So I think as when we talked about the questions to ask and stuff like that, Morgan, one of the things I think people should clarify when they say, let's say for instance, if I was getting Matilda and I say to you, hey, well, what is her demeanor? And they say she's a very chill snake. She could very well be. The follow-up question with retics is, how does she eat? Right? Yeah. Because Chala and Mystical and Hefe, I can put that rabbit in there. As long as I'm in the room, they won't touch it. As soon as I leave the room, they'll eat it. I believe it's because they think that I'm in the way. They don't want to harm me. I really do. In their heads. It's no other explanation as to why the entire time I'm in that room, they won't touch it. But the minute I disappear, they'll go get their food.
My scrub is like that. She'll do it from the tongs, but she slowly opens her mouth.
Right.
And takes it so gently. And I'm just like, it's so polite. Meanwhile, I have Nikita over here, like my 8-year-old helped me feed her. Before we went out of town, he helped me feed everybody. And so he had the rat on the tongs and he went and stood in front of her cage and I was like, no. You need to stand to the side because you don't like she has come out of this enclosure before, like more than half of her body. It scared him to death, but I held his hand with it. I was like, all right, so and then I let him feed the scrub after, and he was like, that was different. Like it's that they all eat differently.
Yeah, and that's kids, like they need that for the learning experience, especially if it's kids if you expect to be your help and your support, because that's what I love about my granddaughter. She knows who's who, what's what. Like she can read those animals as a young girl, just like I can. At 8 years old, she can read them to the T. Where her brothers is more like, oh, all of them are just so sweet. All of them I can do this with. Oh, I can do this. Especially Jaden, because Jaden holds the rats all the time. So he has a skill set with rats. Like even the big ones, he will never get bit by a rat or ASF. Something about him and rats. They love him. And I think because he can do that with rats, his assumption is I can do that with all the snakes too. There are some ball pythons that I tell my grandkids, you better use that pole when you open it because it's thinking it's eating and it's coming out. It's coming out, and they're not used to that because they handle the retics on the ball pythons. But I truly believe because the retics are not in rack systems, their ability to know what's coming and going is different than the ball pythons who don't always know that, in my opinion. So even with anxiety, them not eating and not when you rehome them and you have a big snake who we know eats because it's 16 feet, but all of a sudden it comes to your house and it won't eat. Understanding that is anxiety, not pressing that upon an animal to rush them to eat. Sometimes you might have a snake who need a 6-week adjustment, and we got to be willing and allowing them to do that, specifically with larger snakes, because if you continue, think about an animal with anxiousness and we constantly pushing food, which is in their mind a prey item, but can also be a predator in some cases, right? and we're
Mhm.
constantly pushing it, it can create higher anxiety because I'm not ready to eat. Now I feel like you and the animal trying to attack me. Now I feel like you
Mhm.
and the animal trying to invade my space. And so therefore that can create the same issues that it can create if you was hitting that animal or beating that animal. That's abuse. So, at some point when you're trying to force an animal to take on a prey that it doesn't want. And that's even with animals you don't rehome. I don't believe in doing that. Like if you, I mean, babies who are born, yes, sometimes you, good morning, nephew. Sometimes you have to, babies who are born, sometimes you have to force feed or assist feed. I like to call it assist feed, assist them to feed. But that's even rare. Like if sometimes you just might need to let that hatchling take a week or two to adjust, or sometimes three, to adjust. I talked about the one baby retic. We had one baby retic who would not eat. All the rest of them came out eating. They was ready. Once they shed it was like, where's the food? Please and thank you. But there was one we had to assist feed for almost 3 months. But now that's the one who has the strongest feed response. The one that we had to. That's the one that you want to stand, even as she's a younger baby, like Nikita. You want to stand back here and then handle her food from a distance because she's coming out. But she was the one who took the longest to get to eating as well. So
Mhm.
good morning, Elias. What's up, bro? So when you are rehoming or selling an animal, what do you think, Morgan, are some of the most important questions to ask on the rehoming side? Hey, Wiz, what's up, bro?
Um, do you have kids? How old are your kids? What does your household normally look like? Where is this animal going to be housed? Like, as far as, like, in your home, like, if it's gonna be in your bedroom where it's quiet or if it's gonna be in the middle of things. Those are all important 'cause one, like, if you have kids, if you have, like, a 2 and 5-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
your house is gonna be loud. If you've got a 15-year-old, your house might not be as loud. Um, if your animal's gonna be, like, in the mix of things, so, like, Matilda likes being in the middle of the house. If I were to put June on display in the living room, she'd probably fall over dead. She would be miserable. Um, it she'd, like, turn into a hognose and be like, "Oh, we're gonna play dead till they
Right,
toss me out."
right.
Um, all those things are important, like, basically the lifestyle that, you're wanting this animal to live and be a part of. Um, what kind of obviously, like, what kind of enclosure do you have for it? Have you ever kept this kind of animal before? What do you if not, what do you know about it? Um, there's so many questions if I were rehoming a snake, especially one the size of Matilda, because
Right.
that's a different ball game than, say, a ball python or a sand boa. Um, there's a lot more that comes with it. Also, I wanna know what your thoughts are on live feeding. Versus frozen thawed, what are you gonna be feeding this animal? Where are you getting it from? Like, I wanna know all the things because at the end of the day, this is my animal starting out with,
Yep.
and I wanna know that it's gonna be okay once it is no longer mine. That is my responsibility as the owner to make sure that it is gonna be okay and lead a healthy life.
Yep. For me, before I want to comment on Darren's comment because that's so true, Darren, and let me tell you my thoughts on that. Um, for me, from a breeder side, when I sell an animal to someone, I want those same questions answered, but in reverse. I think it's very specific. I tell people, like, I'll use the ball python for example. My ball pythons who are sold are in rack systems. Okay. So I have to make sure the person buying it understands that you want to gradually put that animal in a bigger enclosure. You don't want to just take that animal and throw it in a enclosure from PetSmart, you know what I mean, a terrarium.
Mhm.
It's not used to that. Now, if you're going to do that, cover it. Make it the most crowded enclosure in the inside with a really good hide with the proper temps and humidity. Because one thing, those the rack system give those animals that most of the enclosures that you give a ball python don't, is that consistent level of humidity that it requires to feel safe and able to eat and digest its food. That's very important. So I always tell people, and the other part is the handling. Do not overhandle the snake when you first get it. We talk about the anxiety. It's used to me. I'm the first person that saw out the egg. And if you don't believe that ball pythons can be very clingy like that, they can be very clingy like that. And so when y'all get the animal and you said it wasn't eating, listen to that breeder. And like I always tell people, the retics are different. Like I can tell you which retic is going to eat right away. So I won't necessarily use the 7-day wait. With no, I might tell you I took it off of food before I shipped it for 7 days. When you get it, let it adjust 3 days and feed that monkey because that one's going to eat. It's going to eat, no doubt. But with ball pythons, typically that 7-day transition is very important, or more. Like I said, sometimes it can be more. And just making sure that the person on the other end doesn't stress it. It's okay. It's a ball python. It can eat for not 8 months, and if it doesn't lose weight, it's just fine. It can eat, not eat for years. If it doesn't lose weight, it's fine. You know how much it was eaten before. Trust me, it was on enough schedule, enough nutrients in it that it's going to be fine. And a lot of people need to wreck that spicy. So to Darren's comment, so Darren, one of the things that how can I say it? I that irks me on the breeding side is that sometimes when people breed for money and money alone, the value of the animal is depleted. And my thought process is that if you're breeding animals, you should already know that every egg animal out the egg is not going to eat on its own. It's rare. I mean, for me, I only had to assist feed one retic and never assist feed a ball python. I've had a ball python or a baby ball python wait 3 weeks to eat his first meal though, but it waited, and then when it ate, it ate. I'm only going to panic and go to assist feed if I think the animal is losing body mass, right? And in that case, you're helping the animal. So I always say to breeders who think like that, if you were in a car accident and needed a feeding tube, would you want someone to just take your life? Like, would you want someone to just euthanize you because your ability to eat at the moment is not there? It comes back some point. You grow off of that feeding tube and you eat again, right? And I feel like this. If the animal is not fit to live, it's going to die on its own. I'd rather open that tub one day and see that my efforts failed to feed it and it's no longer here. But I gave it the best ability to live, right? And I think that people who don't think like that shouldn't fucking be breeding animals. For real. Like that irks my
Right.
soul. If you want to get me cussing, that irks my soul. Like this whole thing where, like y'all heard me talk about it before in the retic world, when that whole conversation about producing eggs, but to feed them off and to euthanize them because they're not the combo that she
More.
wanted.
That's
Listen,
awful.
listen, stop breeding them. Right? You want the combo that bad, go buy it, right? But stop breeding it because at the end of the day, these are animal lives, right? And they didn't ask to be here. That mother could very well not have produced any babies for the rest of her life and been fine. For any human to bring into the world, and I say the same way with humans who use abortion as a part of birth control. Y'all are uncommon. You are the most vile person on earth if you bring life to take it. I don't care who life it is. I don't care if I breed these isopods, right? To throw them in the tent knowing that the table is going to eat them. No, I'm breeding them because I know they'll feed in those tents and they'll continue to live and they'll continue to grow. Now, we have animals who eat other food by nature. you have to feed those, but even that needs to be done humanely, in which most people who have to kill off rats to sell them, they do it very humanely. I think it's the quickest death ever. Like, I wish that we could, do that in other instances where the euthanasia portion of it is just quick, not suffering. Rats don't suffer. I literally, you turn it, they gone. Like, I've never seen, unless you do it wrong, I guess that could happen, but I've never seen that. But if you're going to produce these animals, you're going to know that there are going to be challenges where you have to feed them. Um, Good morning. What's up, exotic world of geckos? You're going to have to feed them. And you should be feeding them until they die. That's how I feel. If you have to assist feed them until they die, or um until they can eat on their own. But I'm not going to just not let an animal eat when I know I can assist them to eat. And every animal, I don't, like I said, that one is the only one, that Rita was the only one I had to do it with. And she's my greatest eater now. Like, that's the one that she's eating. Okay. That ain't no question. You can put anything in there, she's eating. So had we euthanized her, we would have took a life unnecessarily, because she's a thrive. And she's the funny thing is she's bigger. She's probably the size of like, Chris's girls, because she eats like that. Like, she is the eater. She needs one every 7 to 10 days. Don't you try to stretch me to 2 weeks. Okay, I need my food, lady. All right,
I've
cool.
tried stretching Nikita to 2 weeks because she has gotten big. Mm-mm.
You can get
Uh,
her there. She's at a year now, so you can
yeah.
definitely push her to 2 weeks now. I will say though, I,
I've moved to 10 days, and that's been pretty comfortable for her. Anything I think I might wait, like, another month and try
thank you,
to
Bosa.
push it another few days.
Yeah,
Um, but
that's
I
what
can
I did.
always tell because she wants to come out, and she seems so, like, happy, but then on day, like,
Uh,
11, 12, she's flying out of that closure, feisty.
yeah, I definitely wean them to 2 weeks at a year. Um, and it's just, you're not going to eat. You're not going to eat until the 2 weeks. I know it's hard. I know, because you see them, like, the love in your heart. You know what she wants, right? But I
Mhm.
literally, like, even the big ones, like, I push them to 5 to 6 weeks now. T'Challa doesn't eat every month no more. You want to get this 10 to 12 pound rabbit, and you're not going to get another one to 6 weeks. She has become so accustomed to that. Now, when the 6 week come, you, like I said, that's how I know she probably grab it again, because she don't deny
Mhm.
food. you know. Now Nikita reminds me a lot of Dad,
Okay.
of Hefe. Hefe is the sweetest boy, but he likes to eat too. But Hefe, as an older Hefe, young Hefe felt like he needed to eat every 3 or 4 days. I don't know, like, you're not eating that much, sir. Okay, it's not even necessary for a retic to eat this much. I don't know who you're trying to fool. But older Hefe, I still feed him. With Chala, I can push 6 weeks. I still give him every 4 to 5, which he should be at 6 weeks because he's bigger than everybody else. But for me, he's in breeding mode. And in that breeding mode, I like to keep him happy, where he can come out. Although he arched on everything, I don't want him to come out angry and hungry. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
give him every 4 weeks until he come out of breeding mode, and I'll take him back to 6 weeks. But right now he's still arching on everything. You can hear him probably in the next hour when he wake up. You can hear him arching in his enclosure. Everything, boom, 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 boom. So yeah, so you have to take it case by case as well. Nikita is going to be an eater. She's going to be a big. I'm telling y'all right now, Nikita's going to be a big girl like their father. They're not going to max out at 14 feet like their mom did. Mom stopped at 14 feet. Child is not really growing no more. I mean, I'm sure she'll grow over the years, but you don't see it. Hefe's still growing. You don't know what's coming out the next day. Hefe could be 18 feet next week. Who knows?
Oh my
And they remind me of him. Maki's girl, boy, your girl, and the Super Motley that Dev got are going to be beasts like that. And Hefe is not just long. Hefe is, he's a big boy. He's all muscle, but he's very sweet. And I think that's the importance of what we talk about, understanding their anxiety levels and things like that. He's spoiled, and I'll say he's loved. But because of that, when people's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe she's picking that snake up," he's in full breeding mode. He's arching and everything. I can, because of that relationship and respect that I have with him. He's not concerned. He can't help it. His little wee wee is dwingling. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those emotions, he's gonna rub up against me and all that type of stuff. It doesn't make me feel any like unsafe around him or anything. My only concern is that I don't know how that would be if he was horny and hungry. You know, that's a madman all day. You can't give them both,
That's
give them one
funny.
or the other. But I don't think you combine the two. And so I just make sure I still feed him every month. But even when it comes to breeding, sometimes you have to be cautious of, the animal could be ready to breed maturely, like far as could be developing follicles and things like that, but still hold a level of anxiety of another animal being in the enclosure with them. So that's something else that you have to think about. Like with the retics, very specifically, we watch them for like an hour before we walk away when we introduce them to each other's enclosures. Fortunately for me, most of them are raised up together and they always crawling on each other, anything, everything like that. So putting them in the closure is just like Chala and Hefe in the closure is like brothers and sisters in the closure. They just gonna have sex. That's how they are. Where if I did the same thing with Hefe and the Motley Tiger might buck, might be a little fight. Put him in there with the golden child. You need to watch her because she will, the golden child cow, she don't like just anybody up in her enclosure. Now I've noticed that if you put the male in first and then put her back in, she's better with that. But don't put him in there while she's in there. She's damn sure gonna get, but I told you she give eyes all day, like, who are you and why are you here? So that's important as well. Elias said, we play God when we breed. We have a responsibility to see things through. I have at least 5 animals in my collection who started off trouble eaters. Now eat, like, yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, right, we are playing God. We are forcing them to breed. This is not them coming across each other. And we understand we should understand what breeding and raising animals up entails. And for me, like when I think of Crooklyn, Elias, so y'all remember I had the OD yellow belly odium, who was born with the crook in her neck. When she was born, I was like, oh my gosh, she has a crook in her neck. And the first thing my husband said, well, what do you do? Like, is she going to live? Well, we're going to see. So we're going to go ahead and start feeding her. She started taking those little meals. And she was pooping them out. Okay, so she's taking little meals. I'm thinking she was never going to be able to eat like a regular ball python because of the crook in her neck. That girl will snatch a small, just like any of them animals down there. Crooklyn is growing just like every other animal in there. And the funny thing is, Elias, the crook in her neck gets better as she grows. So you can still see it, but not like you could when she was younger. So again, like other breeders would have said, oh, it has the genetics I want, but it has a crook in its neck. It has no use to me. No, it's going to be a pet forever. Y'all heard me say that from day one. It's going to be a pet from forever, as long as she wants to live, and she's thriving with her crook in her neck and everything. She acts just like every ball python. She's got a crook in her neck. I think sometimes the crook in her neck actually help her eat better, because like the way she wraps it up, it's like she grabs it, and by her crook already being there, it's like she's already in it mode to constrict it. But she's a beautiful animal. Like Crooklyn is a beautiful animal, and I'm so glad I don't have the mindset of just taking a life of an animal that's not going to be sellable or breedable.
Mhm. That's a good point.
Yeah, and I love that snake. Like I love her because she got the crook in her neck. And like, I love her even more because she got the crook in her neck. Like she's the
That's so
only ball python in the ball python room who's not a pet that has a name. Aloha, Maki, for sure. Um, just real fast, because Bosa reminded me, guys, if you did not see what Bosa, let me post it. Y'all remember I am doing, and this is very important because I didn't realize this. My husband gonna kill me. So the 3-day cancer walk in Boston is literally the weekend after Daytona.
So are you going to Daytona and Boston?
Yes. Don't tell my husband.
Fun.
Oh, wait. Tell my husband yet. So, if
Just
you
tell them on the
guys
way
can
up there.
click that link, and donate. Thank you to Jose and his lady who donated over the weekend. But yeah, so just so you know, the $2,300, if I don't raise that money, I can't walk. Isn't that crazy? But I can't walk. So what you guys is you qualify me to walk by paying the $2,300 for me, room, board, travel, and everything else. Me and my husband take care of ourselves. So that money goes directly to Susan G. Komen, directly to the breast cancer fund. It qualifies me. It's linked to my name because it verifies that I have raised the $2,300 to enter the walk. And if you guys follow my walks from before, it's definitely a blessing. Also, anybody who donates $100 or more and you have a relative or family member you want me to honor, on day 3, I wear an honor shirt. And on that honor shirt, it's everybody who's donated $100 or more, whatever name you pick, whoever you want to represent, goes on that particular shirt. And that's the shirt that I wear and I cross the finish line on, which is the most emotional part of the walk for me. And if you don't know, the reason why I walk is because my younger sister, who y'all see living a vibrant life now, that wasn't always going to be the case. Pam was diagnosed with cancer back in September 2015. Was one of the hardest things I had to go through as a sibling, because you're facing the fact that your sibling might die, right? And that's something that's never a reality until you watch it happen. So every time I see my sister today and just living her life, like it makes me happy. So I walk because I also can tell you, my sister at that time, financially, she went through a lot. Like, and this is a person who always had it together. You know what I'm saying? You don't have those options no more when you're fighting for your life. You can only think about how you're gonna live. You can't think about everything else. And so, fortunately, we got a strong family who can help hold each other down. But it ain't easy. My sister would tell you she thought I was going to become an alcoholic. Every day after work, my husband would have to meet me at the bar because I couldn't sleep, because I had so much anxiety about whether or not my sister was going to live. So I walk this walk, y'all, for those people. Everybody's not going to make it. I think about Stan and his wife. Stan's wife donated for my last walk, and she's not here with us today. But her intent and Stan's intent when they donated was to help, not her, to help the Cancer Society to find better treatments for people, to work to find better ways people live. And people are living more now than they did before. The fact that my sister is here, stage 3 would have taken her out 15 years ago. People just didn't live past that. If you had more than stage 2, it was a death sentence. And it's not anymore. And I believe it's because of the efforts that we put in. So if you guys can share it, you can share the story, whatever. We just need to get to that goal. August is right around the corner. So I will be in Daytona. We'll come back from Daytona. I probably have 3 days home and heading to Boston to walk 60 miles. Um, all I ask is y'all to donate your little dollars, $10, $25, $50, $100. Like I said, anybody who donate $100 or more, you definitely get that person is on the honor shirt. For those who did last year, y'all remember that moment. I showed that shirt off when I crossed the finish line. Your loved ones passed on, your loved ones who made it through. My loved ones, my cousin had died from cancer that year, Peanut, and I had put Peanut on my shirt. I crossed with Peanut, but on the other side was my sister named too as a survivor. So, you know, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. And I will tell you, if you've never had to deal with this personally in your family up close, thank God. But one day you will. And it's just a reality. One day we all will. I never thought it would be with my younger sister. And the victory is here. She's here. She's living. But I can still go back and think back to days where I would look at my sister and she would be so strong and confident. In the back of my head, I would feel like my sister would die. And I cannot tell y'all, when I walk and every time I cross the finish line and I cry, it's tears of joy. it's tears of joy because the first person I call is my sister, and I FaceTime her so she can see I did it again for somebody else, because my sister is the example of what this program does for people. I remember the Christmas, if my nephew was in the chat still, he will remember the Christmas where the Cancer Society donated all of their Christmas stuff that year. It was the first year that my sister was battling. And I remember my sister getting all this makeup, because she lost her hair, her eye, her hair, her eyebrows, everything. So they provided all of these very essential makeups. Like, it's so much that they do. Gas back and forth to work. Because one thing my sister never stopped doing, and I used to get pissed off. She would go to work after chemo, and I'm like, girl, if you don't go home, and I kept telling her, you owe a disability, you are disabled, because in my mind, all I want you to do is rest. But I do believe her continuing to do her normal things is also a reason why she was able to fight so hard. And then the stuff that happens afterwards. So you beat cancer, then she had to have the surgeries that almost took her out of here. Almost died from a blood clot from the surgeries of having her breast redone. If y'all look at my sister today, her breasts are not the same, because after she almost had the incident with the one, she was like, fuck it, these are going to be the titties I'm going to have. I'm not dying. I'm not beating cancer and dying trying to do all this reconstructive stuff. So when I tell you, I walk, and all I can say is that people say, how do you do it? I remember Ozzy said, how in the hell do you walk 60 miles? And I said, Ozzy, I'd rather do that than to have cancer, and I'd rather be doing that to die, and I'd rather be doing that to have than having chemo. And I made a promise to God, let my sister live, and I can't break that promise. And I said, as long as I can, if for whatever reason I can't walk no more or something like that, that would be different. But I would still volunteer. But I can walk, and as long as I can walk, it is so much fun. And when I say fun, like, it's inspiring when you have that person who just had chemo yesterday, and your feet hurting, right? I never forget. Um, we was in San Diego, and it was day 2. I think y'all might remember this. I went live that day, and I was laying on the concrete. My feet hurt so bad, and I was live with y'all laying on the ground. That was the day my sister actually came on. She came on to the screen with me while I was there. This was a man. His wife died from cancer. This man was over 90 years old. If I want to say correctly, he had to be like 92. And that man walked past me, walked up that hill past me. I looked at him. I said, oh, shake it off, girl. You got to get back to it, and got back to the wall. You get to see the most inspiring things. The 18-year-old girl, as you know, who's not even supposed to have breast cancer, right? Because they said statistically, you don't need to get tested until you're 40. Well, one of the victories we had, they lowered that 40 age now, because my sister was diagnosed, I think Pam was 35 when she found out. So she shouldn't even technically have breast cancer according to the statistics, right? Walking, watching people vomit, like, seriously, because I just had chemo yesterday, but I'm still going to walk these 60 miles. You witness strength on a way that you never ever can. So it's an honor for me to walk amongst those people. It's an honor for me to do this for other people who would probably not be here if it wasn't for the research, science, and medicine. When you see that, was it tamoxifen? That wasn't always available. We had to get a whole lot of anti-venom from other countries to provide that to people. Okay, so it cost. And every year I've been walking, we've raised more and more money every single year. So if you haven't, please donate. If you need me to send you the link, inbox me. I've been not posting as much on Facebook because Facebook got all of these different rules now, and I don't want them thinking that I'm asking personally for donations. Sometimes they don't recognize the Susan G. Komen link. But yeah, guys, we are in a crunch time. If you can just support, I would definitely appreciate it. I'm sorry, Eric. Look, I cry every time I think about it. So that's my nephew. That's Pam's son. So I would tell you that I know it was coming. Eric, we talk about lives. Eric was supposed to enlist into the Navy that year. And his mother was mad that he didn't. But I appreciate a son who loves his mother enough to say, I'll put my life on hold to make sure that you're okay. So Eric, what was it, Eric? Probably like the same month we found out she had cancer, the month he was supposed to go away. When I tell you it affects everybody's lives, it affects everybody's life. It's not, I mean, if you love the person, it affects everybody's lives. But like I said, every day I see my sister today just living her best life. I think we're closer now. We was very close as kids, but I think we're closer now as adults. Because like I think we was close as kids, and then we had our own sets of friends and stuff as teenagers. But then we raised our kids, and we're closer now because of what she went through. Because I think that it also makes you realize that you take your siblings for granted sometimes, right? Pam, if it's out of all my siblings, is the one that I do the most with. Like if I wanna do something right now and say, all right, I want to go to this or do that, I'll call Pam, and Pam is the one who's gonna come with me. It's just that's how we roll. So if you come to that moment where that person may not be there anymore, and then I had to think about my nephews. They lost their father to a brain tumor. So y'all not losing your mother like that. All of this was just such a emotional upside down, and you have no control. Only God has control, right? And we are a family of controlling type people, male and female. Like we're bosses, so you have no control over this. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. I lost my father to cancer 3 years ago. Banner, we lost our dad to lung cancer. So yeah, we know what it's like on the other side. And that fight is not easy for the person or anybody else who's going through it at all. But that's why I walk. Yes, 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 yes. And like Elias and them, like Bosa, everybody. When I do the walks, like just having everybody just kind of tapped in with me, seeing where I'm at, that was really, 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 really motivating. When I make my donation, I'll give my aunt name. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I loved it. I love my day, and I get it. I get that shirt. Well, all of my gear. So y'all know, Shar, who is like a sister to me, and she's also my seamstress. So when I have my custom stuff, that's who makes all my Lady Tiz Exotics custom outfits and stuff like that. Shar does all of my outfits for the walks. So those shirts are custom made. They are custom made. I tell her what I want it to look like, and everything. Oh, Eric said, I remember I still have everything they got me. So yeah, so it was that one Christmas, and I remember my sister called like, oh my God, they just literally just like did all the Christmas shopping for the kids, and that's the type of stuff. Because when someone is battling cancer, the only thing they need to be worried about is living, not everything else. Digital Boulevard, Chandler's Wildlife Snake. Yeah, I heard that Kevin passed away. Yeah, pretty sad. I'm not a big Chandler fan overall because I don't think that he does the right things for U.S. or Florida, for someone who's from Florida. But I love Kevin. I did. I thought that King Cobra was pretty, pretty, pretty dope. Very sad. I do feel sad for him because I know he loved that snake as well. And actually, Kevin is the one that bit him, isn't it? That's how much I think that's the one who actually wasn't it
Hey,
Kevin
where's your
who
phone?
bit him that time when
Go find your
Tom
phone.
Crutchfield helped save him. No,
I
that
can't
was
find it.
Tyler. That was Tyler, I think.
I
That was
can't.
Tyler who got bit by the cobra with
Um,
Tom. That wasn't Chandler. Chandler got bit overseas. I'll catch y'all on replay. Okay, when I had fun at physical therapy, but I actually like physical therapy. So, so have fun if you like it. Sometimes I know it can hurt too. It was very soon after all of that was a blur. Got you. Okay. Yeah, I remember. Elias, he got to be on camera. He had me cracking up the other day. Jim said, bless you, Nikki. My mom just sent this text while I was listening to your cancer stories. 15 years. How have we made it that long without him? Wow. Wow. Right. I shed one tear. She told me not to, so I had to thug it out. She let Jurg run ragged and put me on Big Brother duty. Yes. Well, it was Shawnee's for me. And I used to call my sister, y'all, and I would have these meltdowns, right? Now she's the cancer patient on the other line telling me, you gotta get it together. I need you to be strong. So the joke now, every time when like an anniversary or something come up, I'll be like, because you know, when I had cancer, and she'll bust out laughing because you would think I was the one who actually had it. Because she was the one calling me, giving me the pep talks in the morning. Like, you gotta get this together. We're gonna be fine. It's this like ah. And then my cousin Shawnice was very spiritual, would be fear cannot live in the same place as faith. You know, I used to get all of those messages, and I'm but yeah, my sister was so strong. Like her pep talks definitely helped. The walk is August the 24th. I can't think. It's whatever that Saturday after, I mean, that Friday after Daytona is. So I think it's the 23rd, August 23rd, 24th, and the 25th. Good morning, Fred. Oh, Stan. Speaking of, good morning, Stan. Yes, yes. Support US Arc. US Arc and US Arc Florida, please. For sure. Yeah, that was Tyler. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Boo, I always say that he was lucky as I don't know what. Just so happened. What are the odds of Tom Crutchfield being right there? He was so lucky. Um, yes, US Arc Florida. Please, please support US Arc Florida. Again, what happens in Florida does not stay in Florida. So we got to make sure we supporting. Let's get through the comments. And speaking of, like, even with that situation when Tyler got bitten, we talked about animal anxiety. The animals in shed in a new environment, don't know where he is. And it was accidental. You know, you can tell that the cobra wasn't intentional with that. Morning chat at work, showing love. Definitely, definitely. All right, y'all. So we're going to wrap up the show here on my emotions so I can just get myself together. But I will tell you guys, just pay attention to your animals, respect them, whether you're breeding them or not. Breed animals, you have to love those animals just like you love them as pets. So, in fact, if you want them to be great breeders, you want to feed them good, you want to treat them good, you know, you want to let them know that, still give them some human engagement. Because animals do have anxiety, they do have feelings, they do have emotions. Thank you, Jewels. Where you at, boo? I missed you. Hey, girl. Hey. Thank you, Jules. But I will tell you, I also, ever since I started my brand, I walk this walk under Lady Tiz Exotics. So I represent my reptile people as well. I just love doing the walk because I just know the benefits of what it happens every step, every dollar. And every year we've earned more and more money. I mean, millions and millions of dollars. And I just want more and more people to live. It broke my heart to hear when Stan's wife passed, because Stan and his wife was one of the first people to donate before. But I also find pleasure and grace in knowing that Stan is very supportive and that he is living, right? I can tell you that I experienced that with my sister. I couldn't imagine experiencing that with my husband. So shout out to Stan. And God's intent for every husband and wife is to love your person till death. And you did that. You did that, brother. So shout out to you. And I know she's looking down proud of you. So with that being said, love y'all all. Thank y'all for tuning in today. Me and Morgan really, first of all, I shared this with Morgan off camera, but I'll say this live. You guys have been rocking out with me and Morgan on a big way. The replays and everything, like the YouTube analytics is true. I'm glad that we are bringing you the content different from other content. And that you're getting what you like on a Monday morning from us. We will continue to try to bring things that is very educational. And I love it. Like I said, we're different, but the same. Like, you know what I mean? We love the animals. We are very into the care of them, very much into their personalities. We can talk about the personalities of snakes all day, okay?
All day.
But Morgan is way more bolder than I am when it comes to a lot of her keeping ways and her seeking ways, and she's a teacher. So when I ask her to research something, she's not a person who says that I don't want to read or anything like that. And we do this like impromptu, y'all.
Right.
She's always willing, and I just love doing this with you. Not that
Thank
again,
you.
my old co-host, I love doing it with him too. But Dre and researching shit, Dre would tell you that in a heartbeat. That was that. Look, and I can't, that's my dude. It was what it was,
Yeah.
but um, he's still very much a cheerleader for both of us in the background. Like he watches the show, tells me I love the show this morning or whatever the case may be. But Dre
Right.
is getting back geared up to do the stuff that he did very well. As well, and we need to support him. Dre just dropped a new video. I just saw. I got to watch it this morning. If y'all don't know, Dre he literally did a shed and made it a snake building. And he by himself, y'all. He did an awesome job from
Right. He
drywall
did.
to electrical to
He did
moving the
it by
snakes in,
himself.
all of
That's
that.
incredible.
The whole time I'm in the background saying, "Man, get a contractor, get a contractor," and he just likes to do that
He
type
would
of
tell
stuff
me
himself.
like he would tell me like, "Oh, I'm doing this today." And I'm like, "Oh, so you're paying somebody?" It's like, "No, I'm doing it.
Listen, honey,
I'm
I told
paying
him
somebody."
when I saw the sheets of drywall, I said, "Yep." At that particular point, I became overwhelmed to call the contractor. So y'all know we were planning on doing the bottom deck under our deck by ourselves. So I started digging the ground. By the time I dug the ground, I looked at my husband. I said, "Call the contractor. I'm not doing no more than this." Like I would love to do
Hmm.
home projects, but I'm a call the contractor girl until the money not there. Okay, I can't,
Yeah.
and it gets
Yeah.
done quicker because I'm definitely ain't gonna go out there in the 100-degree weather.
Thank you,
Um,
Banna.
Jose, thank you, Vanna. Jose and their crew would be out here in 100-degree weather doing it anyway. I'm gonna be like, it's too hot. I can't do it.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I love starting my. Oh, thank you, Vanna. Love you
No,
too,
sweet.
Stan. Always.
I did enjoy it. This is a really good way to start the week, and it's
It
always
is.
on a positive note. It's always appreciated.
Send me his channel. I need to see that. Which one, nephew? Chandler's. I think you're talking about Chandler's. I'll send it to you. I mean, not Tyler's. I'll send you both. Tyler and Chandler, especially, if you ever decide to want to get into venomous, I have to give them both credit on their ability to handle venomous animals. I'm just not a fan of Chandler's handling. Tyler is a little bit more cautious. Plus he has monitors and everything else, and I love watching Tyler's channel. I can't lie. But Chandler, I'll definitely have to oh, you know what? Bosa always on it. Bosa got you right there, nephew. Bosa got you right there. Um Bosa is so if y'all don't know, Bosa is one of the admins of this channel. So Bosa had full rights. He can do whatever he want, include pop up on the screen whatever he wants to. Bosa has been my number one supporter from day one. And so that's brother right there. That's brother. That's my sister
I'm about to
Pamela
say he
talking
does need
about.
to pop in on the screen one day. That'd be
Yeah, he
fun.
used to do it all the time. Bosa would just pop in, but then he started transporting the keys and stuff like that. He would pop in and admin a lot. Thanks, man. I hit the road in a few hours. Where you going, Elias? Again, Elias ain't never steal no more. What you doing? You enjoying spring break a little too much. How's the foot, Elias? Elias, I'm back at this here. But yeah, we appreciate you all. Thank you guys for tapping in. I hope everyone has an amazing week. And we'll see you again Monday. We'll discuss our topic of choice. That's Chandler's right there, nephew. Um, and I don't know. Tell us what y'all. Let's do something different. If you follow Morgan, inbox Morgan some subjects you want us to talk about next week, next Monday. Let me know if you want to chat a subject. And me and Morgan are not just two pieces in a podcast. It's not just restricted to just reptile talk. It's a lot of reptile talk. It's going to be because that's what we do. But if it's a
Right.
subject that's outside of that maybe ties into greater thinking. We do those type of subjects as well. We like to talk. Morgan is very intelligent. I mean, so I can have intelligent conversations with her.
Thank you.
And she's always so. What I also love about Morgan is, although she's meek and mild here on screen, she's very bold in her way of thinking, and I love that. So I love a person who challenges my way of thinking as well. So I can send Morgan something, and I always love the feedback that comes back, and it helps me bring and construct a amazing show for y'all on a Monday morning. Even though I'm tired because my nephew has been running. I mean, my grandson has been running me like I've been ran like nothing. Like I'm tired, but it makes it exciting to come on a Monday morning and bring those subjects to y'all, especially after we have to do the research. So give us something to research. We like it.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it.
It's a lot of fun. I learn something every single time that we have to go and dig into something. So I do appreciate. Oh, you in Nashville? Oh, you in Nashville right now? Okay. Elias ain't staying still. All right, y'all. Y'all have a blessed one. Love you all. We'll see you next Monday.
Bye. Y'all have a good week.
Bye bye. Have fun, Morgan, wherever you are. Where you at, Morgan?
Missouri. I'm going home today.
Oh, okay. Have fun in Missouri. Yeah. Well, you had fun.
I did. Yeah, it was good.
Have a safe trip back.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
What's up, grandson?